What's up everybody, it's Jonathan Schaefer here. Today we got a really cool video. We're gonna be talking about the 5 things that most people don't know about NASCAR drivers. Not gonna waste any time, we're gonna get straight into this video here. So the 5 things we're gonna be talking about today mainly consist about the health, stamina, and strength of a race car driver. Not only just NASCAR, but drivers and circle track racers in general. A lot of people that don't understand racing, and this may be you think that NASCAR drivers, they get in the car and all they do is press the gas down and turn left. Besides the technical side of things and all the skills and knowledge you have to have, there's a lot that your body goes through that people don't realize. So the first thing I'm gonna mention is temperature and stamina. A very important thing for us drivers is to be very fit, stamina-wise, lots of running, lots of heart interval training, which we'll get to that in another point. But temperature, if it is a hot summer day, inside the race car, the temperature sitting in the car can be anywhere from 120 to 145 degrees. Not only are you sitting in that 140 degree climate, you're also wearing a triple layered fire suit. The fire suits are not too breathable. They are very thick. About after every race, different for every driver, how much you weigh, how old you are, but typically after every race, I lose anywhere from 5 to 10 pounds, and that varies on how hot the race was and how many laps or how long the race lasted. Now, today we do have air hoses going to our helmet, which gives a little bit of a breeze. It's nothing like AC like people think. After about 40 laps, that does eventually turn to hot air because it just gets so hot inside the race car. Newer technology, there is chill suits, which I recently just got one. Up until now, my whole career, I've never used one, and I still haven't used it yet. So still have to put that to the test. Like I said, even with the chill suit and your air hose, it's not like you're getting, you're sitting in an ice bath or you have AC, nothing like that. You just sweat so much that you lose at least 5 to 10 pounds after the race. Just that alone, losing that much weight over a weekend, sweating that much, it really gives a toll on you. Usually takes a good day after a big race to, just kind of relax, not do too much. The next thing on the list is cardiovascular health, heart training as drivers, otherwise known as heart interval training. So that consists of doing any workout that gets your heart rate within the 145 beat per minute range, back down to a resting rate, back and forth, back and forth. That can be anything such as running. So doing 30-second sprint, 5-second rest, back to a 30-second sprint. And the reason that's so important is as a race car driver, your heart rate goes through the roof. So this was just a 2-hour and 17-minute race. And as you see, I burned 1,079 calories. And during that whole period of that 2 hours and 17 minutes, my average heart rate was 161 beats per minute. If you know anything about your heart rate and your health, that's pretty high as an average alone, but if you look at my heart rate max, that is 205 beats per minute. Now, as you read here, a sustained heart rate above 150 to 160 beats per minute over a long time can stress the heart and cause damage, while rates over 200 BPM are dangerous for anyone. Alone, without the skills or anything, what racing endures to your body alone shows that not everybody can just hop in a NASCAR and go race. I doubt that half the people would even be able to finish the race, otherwise known as we call falling out the seat. Luckily, I've never fallen out the seat, but I know many drivers and friends that have fallen out the seat. Basically, that is where they are too exhausted, pass out, faint, dehydration, lots of things that can cause that. And along with that is the 29% fat burn. So 29% of my fat on my body was burned just in that race. So along with the heat, and then your heart, after a race weekend, like I said, need a rest day. Your body feels like it's been ran over by a train sometimes. But that all depends on, like I said, the temperature and how long the race lasted. So if we look at this graph I have on screen here, this is from one of my races here. Now you can see it starts low and it goes up into the 200 range, and you see there's multiple dips. So those dips right there are where the cautions are. So I'm gonna bring this to our next point here, no brakes in racing. And what I mean by that is racing, NASCAR, and short track racing is unlike any other sport. I've played all sports and I respect all sports, but you play anything like football, basketball, baseball, you get a timeout, you go to the huddle, you sit on the bench, you get a breather. With racing, you don't get that. Sometimes you will get stage cautions, so maybe in like a 300 lap race, there'll be 3 mandatory cautions, but sometimes, you don't have that, especially in like late model short track racing. You can run 125 laps with no caution, so you're not guaranteed a break. Lucky enough, this race, you can see that there was 1, 2, 3, 4 cautions. So there was 4 cautions in this race, and you can see that from the major dips. So my heart rate is in the 180 to 200 BPM range, and then it goes back down to the 160 to 180 range. And again, that's where the heart interval training really comes in for this. because you don't know when your next break is going to be. It's very important that your heart is used to resting and getting right back to where it needs to be. The next point I have is hydration, which with any sport is very important, but like I mentioned, I personally lose anywhere from 5 to 10 pounds just in one race, and a lot of that is water weight. So it's very important that you have the proper hydration throughout the week. So say a race is on Saturday, I start on Tuesday hydrating. Liquid IV, nectar, limit. There's a bunch of things I use to hydrate. Without that hydration, a driver could easily fall out the seat. Obviously, NASCAR, you're going very fast, and at some of these tracks like Bristol or Daytona, or a short track like Winchester or Salem, you're experiencing anywhere from 2 to 5 Gs, lateral Gs in the corner. Fighter jet pilots are anywhere from 6 to 8 Gs. So you're right there with the fighter pilot. Like Dover, for example, I've raced there in a NASCAR ARCA car. You go down to turn 1, and it's such a big drop off into the banking that you can feel your guts kind of just float up in your stomach. Gets hard to breathe. So along with the dehydration and the stamina, if you're dehydrated and tired, you get down in those corners, those G-forces, you can't keep your head up. It could be a long, painful race for you. The G-forces definitely put a physical strain on your body for sure. And the last point that most people don't know about NASCAR drivers is the knowledge that drivers have to have. We have crew chiefs and we have engineers. Crew chief and engineers work together to set the car up right, make adjustments based off data and feedback from the driver. But with that, the driver also has to know somewhat of what's going on. Instead of just telling a crew chief, I am tight center, loose off, okay? That's giving the crew chief and engineers feedback on what you're feeling in the car. A good driver will learn about their car and what adjustments they like. So say I'm tight center, loose off. Well, we gotta fix the tight center first. So maybe as a driver, you like rebound. I want some more rebound in the right front. Or if you feel like it's in the rear, I need a track bar. Let's move the track bar up in the rear. So there's things like that that a driver has to know that can help you and the crew chief and engineers excel as a team. Along with that knowledge is knowing aerodynamics. Aerodynamics in racing are crazy. As a pilot, I have to understand aerodynamics and airfoil, and it's the same exact thing in racing. These NASCAR teams, they'll take their cars with the bodies on it and adjustments they're trying to make to a actual wind tunnel. So like a NASA type wind tunnel, to where they run air over the car and they can see how the air foils and flows and where it drags over the race car. So aerodynamics is huge, but where the driver part comes into that is there is major aerodynamics on the track. So there's something called drafting, which is pretty common. A lot of people know that. Say there's a car in front of me, I'm behind them. They are taking all the dirty air, creating a smoother split stream behind them. So if I run behind them close enough, the air will slowly pull me to their back bumper. There's lots of other things that drivers need to know, like there is side drafting. You can get close to someone's door and try and get a run. The air will help you gain momentum on them there, as well as trying to pass somebody. It's good to be behind somebody to draft and get a run. But if you're going down into the corner, if you're too tight on the car in front of you, say this is me and this is another car, these cars are very downforce dependent. So I'm behind this guy, I have no air hitting my front nose, nothing pulling the nose onto the track. What we call that is dirty air. So typically, we call it peaking a headlight. You gotta peak a lane lower, peak a lane higher, because 9 times out of 10, if you're right on someone's bumper and follow their same lane too close down in the corner, your car will not turn and you will just push up the track and lose lots of momentum. I just wanna make this video because there's a lot of people that say things about racing, and no shame to them, they just don't understand the sport. So hopefully this gives you a better understanding of what the drivers endure and what they have to do. NASCAR drivers are athletes as much, if not more, than every other sport out there. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like this video and subscribe. It motivates me to keep putting these out. Make sure y'all check the link in the description. We got brand new merch out. Pretty cool stuff. It's a limited drop. We're racing the 15th back in the number 91 late model. We're gonna be filming all of that. But thank you guys for watching the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.